Great. So my name is Sakina Turabali. I'm the co-founder and chief growth officer at Skyqraft. 30 years ago, this is how power lines were inspected. 30 years after, in 2021, this is how it's still done, with people on the ground and helicopters. This is not only dangerous, but it is costly, manual, time-consuming, and most importantly, not sustainable. Helicopters today have an average of 700 grams CO2 emission per kilometer. Did you realize that's 5 times higher than that of diesel cars? We have a huge opportunity in the power line inspection industry, worth US $25 billion. And therefore, we wanted to approach the power line inspection industry from first principles by capturing high-quality data or images by using drones that are sustainable. And then we want to visualize this data and manage this data through a map user interface where a customer can log in with a username and password and see their grid locations and their detailed power line pictures. And then we want to analyze this using AI that will automatically find any defects in the power lines. And finally, we can generate a report for the customers with a list of defects where they can pass it to their maintenance group and they can go and fix the power line. They don't even have to look at the thousands of images in our map interface because the AI has done all the work for them. If you take a look at the screen, you can see on the right-hand side, the green lines are the power lines that we have already flown for. And then you see the orange and the red markers, which are the defects in the power lines. And on the left-hand side, you will see such an image of the power line that has a defect. In this case, it is a broken insulator. Our pricing model is pretty simple. Today, we charge per kilometer in Sweden, and we charge per pole in the rest of the world, like US. But in the future, we would, of course, like to charge a subscription model per month or per year. But what we deliver is very important. We deliver great value by giving this AI service to our customers, the utilities. The biggest value is that we save a lot of blackout costs for the utilities. You would have definitely heard about the Gudrun, Alfrida storms that affected us a couple of years ago. They spent millions for the blackout costs. We therefore have a better grid uptime and flatten the maintenance cost curve. And it is pretty evident from the milestones we have achieved. Today, we fly with E.ON, Vattenfall, and Ellevio, who earn 85% of the Swedish grid, and they're also based in the Nordics. We also work with the small grid operators, like the private grid owners that own about 300, 400 kilometers of power lines, and they are key to build our services. So we have the feedback loop with them and build our services and the system they want to buy finally. We have 98% recurring customers. We have inspected 2,000 kilometers today. That is about 1% of the Swedish grid. And raised a round of 2.2 billion seed round in December. But that's not it. We recently signed a big deal with the largest drone operator globally who will use our AI and send images to us to build our AI. We also have flown for New York Gas and Electric in US, where we won a challenge after storm. They are partly owned by Iberdrola. They're one of the biggest Spanish grid owners, and they have about 2 million kilometers of power lines. But all this is done, of course, with a great team. Nothing is possible without it. So we have the skills of drone technology, machine learning and AI, growth and sales, utilities, and software development. We want to ensure a reliable grid uptime without, of course, damaging our product, the most important. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sakina.
Thank you.
I had no idea that the industries work this way, so very interesting. And can you explain a little bit more about the product? Are you operating them as well, or are you selling your technology with the drones and the operating system to the customers?
Yeah, good question. So what we do is we are focusing only on the AI system right now. And so what we do is we partner with drone operators in other countries. I mean, that's how we can scale, we think. But in Sweden, when we started about 2.5 years ago, we couldn't find any drone operators. This is so new of an industry. So we had to do it ourselves. So we bought drones, we flew for them, we learned everything. And we also thought that this gave us more learnings than just, kind of partnering up with operator. And I think our strategy is to do drone operations for about another 2 years in Sweden till we find a good operator, and then, of course, move out of it and be a solely SaaS service. Yeah.
How long does it take to analyze 1 kilometer?
I mean, it's pretty quick. We analyze 10 images per second. So it's very, very fast.
So with the big utility companies in Sweden, can they see the benefits that this technology give them?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, the big utility companies in Sweden that you work with, can they see the benefits that you described?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
I mean, you won't believe the first time when I was trying to call someone and sell the product, I just sold it over the phone. That's how easy it was. It's like, oh yeah, we have been waiting for this, And they're forced to have a KPI, the CO2 emission KPI right now, so they have to kind of change how they really inspect their power lines. But of course, we all know utilities are huge, they are slow, they take a lot of time to make decisions internally. So of course, I mean, it's very hard to get 10% of their grid. So we have to, obviously, inspect their grid in small quantities.
And is the accuracy the same or better, or how do you compare if you have an individual or a helicopter inspecting versus the drone?
Great. So the accuracy depends on which model we are using. So we have different types of models. So we have the ring counter where it says, a glass blue ring insulator is missing. So every model has different accuracy, but we averagely have about 90% accuracy on our models.
And you mentioned having flown in the US, so you have clients in the US as well? Or?
Yes, we have one client, that's New York Gas and Electric, which we won the competition with, the Iberdrola competition. But we are also working with Aerodyne, one of the drone operators. I mean, that's our first way to move into our future strategy, where we will be a complete SaaS solution. So what they do is they will fly for us for any of the customers in the US, but they will use our backend as an AI provider.
And is that your strategy to go to the US? Or
yes,
what's your go-to-market strategy?
Definitely. I mean, we never wanted to be the drone operators. We really wanted to be the software company. That's always been our mission.
And can you just dive a little bit deeper on the 90% accuracy? Is that enough in this industry for these clients?
Yeah, it's really enough. The thing is, at the moment, I wouldn't say that we have the best AI system. I mean, we have a really good AI system. We are just 2.5 years old, right? So we are working on the accuracy, but for now, what we do is we also have a person who would be inspecting the power line and looking at the pictures, so we don't. Okay, sorry.
It's fine. It's always brutal, but somebody has to. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
You.
Nice
Thank
meeting
you.
you all.
Likewise.
Nice meeting you.